Conor McGregor against Khabib. Conor took his time after the match, but now finally he's out with his interpretation, his aftermath of the match. We're gonna look at it in this video. Before we go to his statements for each round, I want to say something I noticed before the fight even started. And that is, my impression was that Conor, he was very nervous. Like, all the conviction he's shown in all those press conferences, that was somehow gone away. When he entered the ring, he was kind of nervous, kind of overwhelmed by the situation. While Khabib, on the other hand, he was very calm and ready. And I think there maybe it was a little bit too high here for Conor to go for the champion after a 2-year break. Some may call it ring dust. I call it he was not really prepared for the fight at that moment. Body language said he's not ready. Let's go into what Conor has to say. Thoughts on my last fight. Round 1. I believe from a sports standpoint, round 1 was his. So that is very fair by Conor. He says Khabib won the first rounds from the sports perspective. Top position against the fence. Yes, almost all of the first round they were really pushed against the fence. 0 position advancement or damage inflicted, but top position. That's what got Khabib that round. From a fight standpoint, the first round is mine, says Conor. And what he means by that is, he's giving that in the next paragraph. Actual shots landed and willingness to engage. Straight left early, knee to the head on the low shot, elbows in any and all tie-up scenarios, opponent just holding the legs against the fence for almost the entire round. What he basically says is he wanted to fight Khabib, but because of the wrestling of Khabib and Khabib had him against the fence, he was not able to fight Khabib. He was willing to engage, and he's kind of saying here that Khabib was kind of preventing the fight from really happening. The other viewpoint would be that Conor was not able to free himself from Khabib's grip. Round number 2. He is running away around the cage before being blessed with a right hand that changed the course of the round and the fight. Now this is very interesting. What Conor here says is that that right hand that hit him, that does not only hit him down for a split second, but he actually says that changed the fight. That had a big impact on the fight. Now the thing here is, that was not my impression. When I watched the fight, yeah, he hit him, but I mean, it was just one hit and he went to his knee very quickly. And that's the scene that has been shown everywhere. Everywhere on the internet. That scene of Khabib knocking Conor just down on the knee, not really a knockdown. That's been shown everywhere, but the part that happened right afterwards, that hasn't been shown, and that was actually Conor getting up really quickly and fighting back really quickly. And so when watching the fight, I had the impression that that does not really have a big impact on the fight, but Conor says otherwise. He says it really changed his viewpoint on the fight. It was a nice shot. It definitely was a nice shot, that's for sure. After the shot, I bounced back up to engage instantly. That's really true. But again, he dipped under to disengage. Now, that's just a viewpoint here, disengage. I mean, he just pushed him against the fence, and yeah, you can call it disengage, or you can call it taking down Conor, not giving him a chance to box. That is the sport, fair. And it was a smart move, fair too. That led to a dominant round, so no issue. Well played. So he's showing big respect here for Khabib for playing this really the way it's played and using his own strengths to take an advantage. Giving compliments here to Khabib. Now comes the very interesting part. He says, if I stay switched on and give his stand-up even a little bit more respect, that right hand never gets close and we are talking completely different now. I gave his upright fighting no respect in preparation. That's very interesting. He actually says he didn't prepare for boxing. He didn't prepare for stand-up fighting. He prepared for wrestling, and that's very interesting because that basically means Conor did not work on his own strength. He did not count on his own strength, but rather his mindset was on defending Khabib's strength, defending the wrestling. And I think that's really the thing here, the mindset that had a very big impact on the fight. What do you think? If you enter with the mindset, I have to defend against the wrestling, or if you enter with the mindset, I don't mind his wrestling, I'm prepared, but I will do my thing, that's a big change. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now let's go on. Okay, he says, I gave his upright fighting no respect in preparation. No specific stand-up spars whatsoever. He didn't even train it. Attacking grapplers, wrestlers only in training. That won't happen again. So he learned his lesson. I also gave my attacking grappling no respect. Too defense-minded. So he learned his lesson, and next he says, lessons. Listen to nobody but yourself on your skill set. So he learned his lesson. He's got to go more on his own skill set. He's got to rely on his strength. You are the master of your own universe. I'm the master of this. I must take my own advice. So that's a really great part here in Conor's analysis. Really, he's got to go on his strengths. Then goes on. Round number 3. After the worst round of my fighting career, I come back and win this round. Again, walking forward, walking him down and willing to engage. So that is really true. Conor was ready. He was willing to engage, but he also had big respect for Khabib and the wrestling, but he was willing to engage, willing to fight. And he says he won round 3. I had a similar impression. I'm not sure he won. I'm not a UFC expert. I also thought, now this is just what went through my mind. I thought in round 3 Khabib tried to box Conor, and that didn't go so well. And that's why finally in round 4 Khabib decided to finish the match. And he had the strength to finish the match. He didn't want to go on boxing because that didn't go so well. So Khabib took Conor down, wrestled him down later on in round 4 because it would have been too dangerous to go on boxing. That was what I thought as a spectator of the match. And now what Conor says here is, for round 4, next round, he says, my recovery was not where it could have been. That is my fault. His cardio! And we've seen that. His cardio was really bad in round 4. He was tired. And Khabib had really tired him down in round 4, and he says, also winning the early exchanges in 4, he dips under again and they end up in a bad position with over 3 minutes on the clock. That's a long time. I work to regain position and end up upright with my back to the fence. A stable position. Here, however, I made a critical error of abandoning my overhook at this crucial time, exposing the back, and I end up beaten fair and square. So that is true. Khabib wanted to finish it in round 4. You really seen that after not so good round 3. In round 4 he wanted to finish him, and he got that grip on Conor, and as a spectator there was really no chance for Conor to get out of this grip in those 3 minutes. And very fair here by Conor. He says he was beaten fair and square. He says, what can I say? It was a great fight. Very fair here by Conor McGregor. He says he was beaten fair and square. And that's what really makes a great champion. He's great in victory, but he's also great losing. And he doesn't take a lose as a lose, but he goes into it and takes it as a chance to learn his lesson. And that's what Conor is doing here. He actually gives his thoughts and his lessons learned to us in written form. It was a great fight, and it was my pleasure. I will be back with my confidence high, fully prepared. So whoa, here's the first hint. It's not over. Recently I had the impression Conor was fully engaged with selling the whiskey. He was traveling the world selling his whiskey, so that was his engagement recently. I was not sure if he would ever come back, but here he's giving a hint that he will be back in the octagon. I'm looking forward to that. If it's not the rematch right away, that's no problem. I will face the next in line. It's all me, always, anyways. See you soon, my fighting fans. I love you all. It's a good choice not to go against Khabib, not to go against the champion right away. I think maybe that bite was a bit too big for him. And because after 2 years of a break, he needed some more preparation. He needed that feeling when you're in the fight, when you're in the octagon. And so it's probably a smart choice to take somebody else first and then go for the champion. It's gonna be really hard to beat Khabib. Khabib is such a strong wrestler, and I didn't see where Conor really has a recipe. Maybe if he relies on his boxing strength, he can get through, he can land the lucky punch. He was actually in round 3, he was very close, he had some good punches. One knockout punch hit Khabib here, one knockout punch was over his head, so it was very close. If those punches hit in round 3, the fight could be over, but that would be kind of lucky punches. So I'm not sure. Maybe Conor can beat him if he lands a punch. But Khabib's wrestling is so strong. And I would actually love to see Ferguson next against Khabib. I would also love to see a great wrestler against Khabib. I hope Khabib stays in UFC. We'll see. There have been discussions. Khabib saying he will leave UFC and stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. I hope you like this video. And please subscribe to Story Spotlight for more amazing stories. See you in the next video.